If you dread the question, "Tell me about yourself," you're not alone. Most candidates bomb this question, and it's not because they're not qualified, they just don't have the right strategy. And this is one of the most common questions that you will get asked in your interview. In today's video, I'm going to teach you exactly what to say so that you nail this interview question and you get your interview off to a great start. Okay, so I've been in recruitment for 15 years, and just about everybody asks this question right away. And it's really important because it sets the tone for the entire interview. And when you're asked this question, whether it's a recruiter, HR person, or a hiring manager, they're not asking for your life story. They're asking, can this person fit in with our organization and can they do the job? And if you don't answer this question in a compelling way, then they check out really quickly. In fact, most decisions are made in the first 3 minutes of an interview and the last 3 minutes of the interview. And this question is make or break because it's the thing that right away lets them know, is this candidate worth truly engaging with or not? Okay, so most people who teach you how to answer this, they get it all wrong. Here's the formula to truly nailing this interview question. Start with the present, then go to the past, and then talk about the future. Now that seems counterintuitive because it's out of order, but let me explain why this is truly the superior way to do it. You want to start immediately letting them know who you are, what your role is, and some of your key responsibilities, okay? This lets them know right off the bat that you're qualified for this role because it's what's most relevant to the role today, what you are currently doing. The next thing you want to do is you want to take one step back and talk about some of your past roles, and you want to do this super efficiently. You don't want to be spending a ton of time on it, but rather you want to be giving them the highlights of the things that made it so that you are qualified for this role today. Now you want to follow this up with where you are headed, okay? Most people don't do this. They just talk about everything in their past, and that's really dropping the ball because this question is like an open canvas. You can truly paint it however you want. And the most effective way to do that is by concluding by letting them know that you are a strong fit for this role. That will positively set the tone for the entire interview because they'll be like, oh yeah, this person clearly has the background. They know what they want. What they happen to want is our role, and they're being assertive in the fact that they are qualified for it. You can kind of conclude by saying, and that's why at this time in my career, this role is perfect for me because of A, B, and C. That is an incredibly strong way to answer this question. Most people, they don't take advantage of the opportunity, and even worse, they kind of mess it up. Now let me give you some of the most common ways people mess it up so you can avoid this. The number one thing is they spend way too long talking about them personally, okay? If you're in an interview and you give them the professional answer, and they go, well, yeah, but tell me a little bit about you. That is your intro and your opportunity to talk about you, where you're from, things you have interest in, your family, your pets, etc. But if they don't do that, you have to assume they want to know about the business version of you. And again, if they want to know about you personally, they'll prompt that. The second thing people do is they take way too long to answer this question. Everything I talked about can be said in 45 seconds, and that is an effective way to answer this question. It is clean, it is clear, it is concise, and it's confident, and it's relevant. That is what you're aiming for. You don't want a long, convoluted answer. That's just not going to work. And the last mistake people make is they spend way too long talking about the past, they include way too much information, and they say nothing about where they're headed. Talking about why this is a great role for you and why it's perfect for this stage in your career, given your experience and your ambitions, that is a strong way to conclude. Now, the last big mistake I do not want you to make is I don't want you to sound scripted. I want you to practice this, but I want you to practice it in a way so that you sound natural. It sounds authentic. It doesn't sound like something you've said 1,000 times, but it sounds like something you're saying to them confidently for the first time. So you need to practice that until when you hear yourself saying it, it sounds like you were confident and it sounds like it's not overly rehearsed. Now, if you do all that, you should nail it. But if you nail it and you're still not getting job offers, then you should probably watch this video here. This video here is why you are getting ghosted. The reality is most candidates I talk to have been ghosted, but it is avoidable if you do the right things. So go watch this video. I'll see you over there.